All right. Well, we're waiting on the next version to come out. Expecting it to be out sometime today or tomorrow. So while we're waiting, let's take a look at one of the bonus series that was introduced in the current version 8.2. In this case, it'll be Touring Titans featuring the Alfa Romeo 155 V6 Ti. This series, as you can see, you will find it in Pro section of the Road Collection area. It's gonna be the last one of the last bonus series in the Pro section, as you can see here, very last tab, if you will. And it features two cars, Nissan Skyline GTR Group A, BNR 32, and the aforementioned Alfa Romeo 155 V6 Ti. So if you won either of the cars, the series would be unlocked, or if you purchase it, that's another way to unlock this series. Otherwise, you would have to win some 30 trophies in the last big box series in Pro section, the classic American Muscle series. So yeah, that's how you would access it. So let's check in. Touring Titans, two of the most dominant touring cars in history, finally settled the score. Surprisingly, this is not in the motorsport section, but in the road collection, which is fine by me. Both cars, of course, very, very grippy. Not exactly speedsters, but they're very grippy, which makes them a lot of fun to race around the tracks, especially the technical tracks, like Catalunya or I don't know, what are some, I guess Mazda Raceways is pretty good track as well. So anyway, the total rewards available in this series, 67 gold total and 67,000 racing dollars is what I meant. That's the total divided up into, as you can see, 8 gold for first 25% completion, and 50% completion would get you another 13 on top, and then the 75% completion would give you another 18, and final 100% will give you the remaining 28 gold. And the racing dollar rewards are gonna basically match that with the in 1,000 added to it. So as opposed to 8, you get 8,000, and the next 50% instead of 13, you get 13,000 racing dollars. You get the point. Yeah, and they say on the Fire Monkeys site regarding the version, this series, the PR 400% completion is 57.7. So of course, if you won the alpha through the race day event in the current version, you probably would have won it with the PR 54.6, because that's what it was required. 21 upgrades on board, right? So that will get you pretty far in this series. So speaking of the series, let's here take a look. There are 20 tiers total, and the total number of events, there are 54 events, because we have 2 time trial tiers. The tier what is that, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 looks like for the Nissan time trial, and the other time trial being the Alfa Romeo. And then of course, so those 2 tiers, because they're time trials, they don't have any PR requirement, obviously, or the trophies. You're not given a trophy. And then we have showcase tiers as well. So those showcase tiers feature 2 events, not normal 3 events. So the number of trophies that you win is a little less on those tiers. So the completion increment doesn't always quite mirror like, there are 20 tiers, but it's not divided into like 5 tiers for 25% completion, 10 tiers for 50%, and 15 tiers for 75% completion. Instead, it is more like first 25% completion would be tier 5, but then the 50% completion happens in tier 11, and then 75% completion would happen in most likely tier 17, and then of course 100% is at the end, tier 20, and everything completed, right? All gold trophies. And then yeah, so let's take a look at the series itself. Tier 1, we got head-to-head at Spa. It's most likely going to be a single lap, and as you can see, the 2 cars featured Nissan Skyline GTR Group A. My PR is 45.2 because this was won through a special event, wasn't it? And apparently I won it with 9 upgrades. So essentially it was not even all the racing dollar upgrades on board here, because all the racing dollars on this car there are 11 racing dollar upgrades available. So that will bring your PR all the way up to 46.8, which will get you pretty far into the series, by the way. And then ALFA, this one, I won it at earlier this month, essentially, in the version 8.2. This was the first event, the first car that we got to race. And because it was race day event, we had to meet the PR requirement. There was no cheaper way of getting it. So 21 upgrades, 54.6 is the PR, which obviously will get us pretty far. In fact, with this high of a PR, we should be able to unlock all 20 tiers in this series with this car. And obviously, when you can go that far, you are going to be able to complete 75% completion, which means you get to pick up, oh gosh, how many is that? 13, 8, so 21, 39 gold? Is that right? Yeah, so there's some extra 39 gold to be won if you've already won this car in this bonus series. Anyway, so, and then let's take a look at I'll have the description for the both cards, kind of specs, in the description box below, as well as always the actual series stats on the description box below. So if you don't want to listen to me all the way through, then you can just look in the description box and you'll get your answers much quicker. But for those of you guys who wants to just kind of, go through the video with me here, then stick around. So here we go. Hunter, Mazda Raceway. So that's a lap. And then the cup for Tier 1 is going to be a Silverstone Bridge Grand Prix single lap. Tier 1, of course, there's no PR requirement. And Tier 2 requires all 3 of the first tier completed, or won a trophy, doesn't matter what color. Ideally gold, since you get more percentage completion with a gold trophy. But any color would unlock the next tier, so you can always come back to it if you're having difficulty. Anyway, then we got Tier 2, we got speed record at Monza Junior course, so that's a short lap. And then endurance at Mount Panorama. It's an endurance, so the distance that you cover may vary depending on your opponents. And the cup for Tier 2 is going to be a Suzuka East, PR 40.1. So neither car has base PR that is that high. They both start in the high 30s, like 37.7 base PR for the Nissan and 37.9 for ALFA. So you'll need at least few upgrades to get past this Tier 2 racing dollars. Just a quick 2-lapper. Alright, and then Tier 3 requires another 3 gold trophies, or trophies I should say. And And we've got elimination at Daytona Road Course, so that's most likely gonna be a rolling start and have to run for 2 minutes 20 seconds as always. And speed snap we've got at the Leipzig, the Porsche test track short on-road circuit, and the Cup 4 Tier 3 is at Melbourne, PR 41.3 required, and it's gonna be a 3-lapper, and both cars with the Racing Dollar upgrades alone should be able to get you past that. And then 3 trophies more will unlock Tier 4. And we got Autocross at Red Bull Ring, Grand Prix, Drag Race. It's at Suzuka East, but honestly, I don't think it really matters where it takes place. It's a drag race. And then Cup for Tier 4, we got the Brickyard, Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course, PR requirement 42.2. And it's gonna be a double lapper cup. All right. And next tier, Tier 5, this is gonna be your 25% completion tier. And let's see, you don't need to complete all 3 events here to claim 25% completion. If you've been winning all gold trophies, you need 2 gold trophies here, which means in fact one might be you could probably get away with 1 silver trophy. So 14 events basically get you the 25% completion. That is roughly the 25% of 54 total events. So we got endurance at Bugatti Circuit and speed record at the Circuit of the Americas Club Circuit. So that's a short lap. And so you could technically claim 25% completion reward of 8 gold with a PR 42.2, which both of these cars should be able to reach with Racing Dollar upgrades alone. Now Tier 5, the last cup here is at Monza Road Course. PR required is 43.1, and that is the last tier you would be able to complete with ALFA using only Racing Dollar upgrades alone if you have not won this car already through the race day event, if you purchased it, right? But the Nissan, the Racing Dollar PR will be taking you a bit further, bit deeper into this series. And speaking of winning those 2 trophies in Tier 5, as you can see here, will unlock the Nissan Showcase tier, where we featured 2 events featuring the Nissan, of course, Skyline GTR Group A. So even if you don't win or run the cup in Tier 5, you would have access to 2 more gold trophies, which unlocks both Showcase and the time trial. And then 1 more trophy unlocks Tier 8. So you can actually access Tier 8 by completing one of those Nissan Showcase races, events, head-to-head at Mount Panorama, a single lap, or the cup at Nürburgring Sprint Circuit, and it's Showcase tier, so we don't have PR requirement there either. It's a double lapper, as you can see. So that's another way to access it. But obviously in the next tier, Tier 8, we're gonna have even higher PR requirement. And obviously you need 3 more trophies to access the Tier 9, which means, let's see, you needed 1 more here, right? So 1, 2, 3. I guess you could still technically get to Tier 9 without necessarily competing in these PR required cups. So let's see, tier 5, you got up to 15, 16, 17, and 18, 19. Right, so you have 19 events without the as high of a PR requirement to access tier 9, which unlocks, of course, 2 more events. But you know, at that point, I have a feeling you're gonna need at least well, you need 21. And yeah. So anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about earlier here. So let's get back to tier 5. Let's talk about, oh, actually, I guess we've gone over the tier 5 already. We'll pick up on the time trial for the Nissan Skyline. It's going to be at Hockenheim Grand Prix. And if you want to, I guess, be on top ranks, you need to score somewhere in minute 21, which is pretty fast. Anyway, continuing on. Tier 8, we got elimination at Brands Hatch, speed snap at the 24-hour circuit, and the cup at Hockenheim National. This one requires PR 45.5, which you can access with the Racing Dollar upgrades alone on the Nissan, but not on the ALFA. And this one's going to be 3-lap cup. Right, moving on. Tier 9, we got autocross at Daytona Motorcycle Course, and that's not a rolling start because it's autocross. And endurance at Circuit of the Americas Grand Prix. And well, you know how the endurances run. It depends on your target. Your distance may vary. And then cup at the Catalunya Grand Prix, PR 46.2 required, and it's gonna be 2-lap cup. So 46.8 is the max PR of the Skyline with the Racing Dollar upgrades. So this will be most likely the last tier that you're going to be able to complete a cup using Skyline. Anyway, next tier, tier 10. Let's see, we got speed record at Silverstone National. And so that's a full lap. Not terribly long circuit, the national circuit, right? And then the drag race, it's a drag race. It's a Monza road course. Anyway, the important one is going to be the cup at Suzuka Grand Prix, PR 47 required. And it's going to be a double-lapper cup. And neither car will be able to compete in this with racing. This is the first cup that is going to force you to have to get gold upgrades if you haven't gotten any until this point. All right, and tier 11 is where you will be able to claim the 50% completion reward. Basically completing 27 events here. So we got elimination at Dubai Club. So as always, survive for 2 minutes 20 seconds, right? And then head to head at the Red Bull Ring Grand Prix, a single lap. And the cup for tier 11 takes place at Daytona Road Course, PR 47.9 required, and it's going to be a double lapper rolling start. Moving on, tier 12. We've got Hunter at Nürburgring Grand Prix, so it's a full lap. Autocross at the Brickyard Road Course, and and the cup is going to be at Brands Hatch in the circuit, PR 48.8 required, and the high lap counts, as you would expect in this short circuit, 6 laps. All right, and then tier 13 is the Alfa Romeo showcase tier here. Speed snap at Melbourne and cup at Catalunya National Circuit. It's going to be a 4-lapper. Of course, no PR requirement there. And then at the same time, it will unlock the time trial for ALFA, which takes place at Mount Panorama. And Looks like the top time here is minute 41:42. That is a pretty good time for these cars. They're not very fast cars, so all right. Anyway, moving on to the next tier, tier 15. Now remember, this is not going to be enough for you to claim 75% completion, even if you complete every single one, just because there are those tiers with no trophy and well, one less events, right? The showcase tiers. So tier 15, we got autocross at Berlin. That's a full lap. Endurance at Circuit of the Americas National Circuit. And the cup for tier 15 is at Nürburgring Grand Prix. PR 48.8 is what's required. And it's going to be a 3-lapper. All right, tier 16 is where, no, it's the tier 17. That's where you're going to be able to claim the 75% completion, I think. So we got Hunter at Suzuka West, head-to-head at Silverstone Grand Prix. Most likely a single lap, yep. And then the cup for tier 16 is at Spa. PR 52.2 is required. And it's going to be 3 laps. That's going to be a pretty lengthy race. So, long format race beginning to show up in the tail end of the series, as you would expect. All right, next tier, tier 17. This is, I believe, the 75% completion tier. We got elimination at the dynamic circuit of Leipzig track, the Porsche test track. And autocross at Red Bull Ring National Circuit. And the cup for tier 17 is a Mount Panorama. PR 53.9 is required. And it's going to be a 4 laps. It's going to be a 4-lap cup. So after a 3-lap cup at Spa, 4-lap cup at Mount Panorama. So these are beginning to become a bit longer formats. So really get to let these cars just kind of, you know, run for a while. That's kind of good. Anyway, then tier 18, we got Speed Snap at Daytona Motorcycle Course, Hunter at Dubai International, and the cup for tier 18 requires PR 55.5. That's important. It's going to be at Hockenheim Grand Prix. But that is the first cup that, even with the race day event PR, which is what I have here on my ALFA, 54.6, you're not going to be able to compete in this cup. But thankfully, if you've been completing all the events up till this point, you should be able to unlock the remaining tiers even if you don't complete this cup. So definitely you'll be able to do 75%, claim 75% completion reward, and at least have all the events except for the 3 final cups here on the tier 18, 19, and 20 available if you at any point you put more gold upgrades, because that's what's going to be required. So how many laps was that? That's a 4-lap cup at Hockenheim Grand Prix, so that's a pretty lengthy race as well. And then tier 19, we've got speed record at Bugatti Circuit, another drag race, this time at Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course, and the cup in tier 19, 56.2 is the PR requirement. It's going to be at Mazda Raceway, 5 laps. That one looks like that would be a fun one with these cars, but you're going to have to pay the entry fee, essentially. Need more upgrades. So, but you don't have to. And then, of course, final tier, tier 20, which requires 45 trophies to unlock. And there we go, tier 20, the last tier. Autocross at Melbourne, Speed Snap at Brands Hatch, and the final cup at Silverstone National, and the final PR, as I mentioned earlier in the video, PR 57.7. So what they have published on their site is accurate. that's not always the case, so I just want to confirm here. And that final cup is going to be at actually Silverstone National, not Grand Prix. 8 laps with the PR requirement, as I said, 57.7, which will require you to upgrade your car quite a bit. Not full upgrade, but pretty close to it. And both cars, by the way, when they are fully upgraded, your PR goes all the way up to 59.8. So either car can complete the series, assuming that you own the other car to complete the showcase and time trial. Right, so and as you can see, neither car at the moment has exclusive series, so I have hard time justifying fully upgrading these cars because they will cost you a bit. To fully upgrade Nissan Skyline, it costs 515 gold plus some 1 million racing dollars if you're concerned about racing dollars. And if you want to fully upgrade ALFA, it'll cost you 414 gold total. I've already gotten the tier 2 gold upgrade, so it'll be a little less for me, but still it's going to be in hundreds that I have to invest into this car. And then cost 1.4 million, somewhere up there, for racing dollars as well. So yeah, so that is I guess about as brief as I can make this series overview. So hopefully you guys found the information useful. If you liked the video, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe, share. You know what to do. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. In the meantime, stay safe.